I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm real good. What's been going on?
Lots. A lot, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, when we were talking about this before, it was NAI 2016.
I think so.
Yeah.
That
Because I
is
moved here in the
4
beginning.
years.
Yeah,
4 years.
4 years? Three.
3 years.
3 years.
Wow,
Whoa.
I'm getting it wrong.
Whoa, slow down.
Well, I think it's because it's nearly 2020 that I'm thinking 4 years.
You're just nipping off the
Yeah,
end.
I'm nipping off the last 2 months, you know?
And are you originally from? I know that we probably discussed this in class. I feel like it was something that you were questioned about, but you have a mixed accent.
I do. So my kind of backstory is I was actually born in Singapore, and then I grew up in Hong Kong, lived in Perth, and then moved to Melbourne when I was 18.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm from Perth.
Yeah.
And I think that we touched
We
on that.
established that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And where in Perth again?
I think the last place was Mount Claremont area.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'm Swanbourne. I went to Swanbourne High.
Yes.
Right.
I'm very familiar with that area.
Yeah. And so since then, you said that how long was it before you moved over? Like, did you go to the States or you just went to Canada?
I just went to Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah, so I moved September 2017.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like a year after that, took off. Was that
Yeah.
your plan back then? Or?
No, it wasn't. I mean, the plan was always America.
Right.
But
It's
obviously,
brittle. Yeah.
visas are a bit hard to obtain,
So
to
did you
say
just,
the least.
Yeah. Did you just do the standard 1-year visa then for Canada?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years, but
Sons of bitches didn't have that when I did it back in the
yeah,
day.
really?
Yeah, it was 1 year.
Yeah. So I left end of February 2019. Well, this year. Yeah.
Damn, so you did the full stretch.
I did the full stretch.
Oh,
almost,
wow.
yeah.
Are you friends with David Beamish?
Probably from the look on my face, that's a no.
No, from here, 28, 29 years old. He's in Vancouver now. Actor, super long, ginger hair. Kind of looks like, what's his name? Lannister from Game of Thrones. He's been at a bunch of those TAFTA
Yeah.
deals.
Probably. This is going to be awkward if I actually do know. And
He was in that Lancelot film that they did out there with, Alicia Pavlis, don't you?
think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
She was on the
No.
desk there at TAFTA for a little bit.
Don't think like really personally, probably.
No, okay, no
But
worries.
the name has come up quite a bit, yeah.
She was on the third episode.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Actually, as a big thank you to you, this is the number 7 episode.
Number 7.
And they say statistically that 7's the one that breaks the back of it. You know
There
how
we
they say
go.
like 1 in 3 businesses, small businesses fail within the first year? They say most podcasts don't make it past the 7th episode.
Wow. Okay, so it's either this just sinks the ship
Yeah,
or it helps it rise up.
Oh, exactly.
No pressure at all.
Well, I've got my next one booked in next week. And then I think the day before, actually, and next week I've also got Mick Preston.
Okay.
Damn. Here's another teacher at TAFTA.
Oh, probably.
Tall,
probably.
lanky, bright blue eyes, late 40s.
You know, it's been so long since I've been at TAFTA. I think 2016, possibly. Maybe 2017. I don't know.
Was that your only engagement with TAFTA, the NAI, or had you done?
No, I did the 20-week program.
Okay,
and
right.
then I did a couple of classes here and there, and then the NI and IA, I get
NAI?
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
National Actors Intensive.
So I got the order wrong. There we go. NAI. There we go.
Yeah. So when you did the, because I obviously did the 20 week as well. Had you done that the year before
I think so.
with Emma Burnside?
2015, I did mine.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you have Emma Burnside in yours? I'm throwing all these names at you.
I'm just
Not-
throwing
not
all these
once.
names and my memory is just shocking.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so you went to Canada. I lived in Canada back in 2004. Not as an actor. This is well before my acting days. What'd you make of it?
It was very pretty. It was
It is
very
very
pretty.
pretty. Yeah.
Quite expensive.
Yeah.
Especially Vancouver.
More than here or more than Sydney?
You know, I think it's actually very similar.
On par. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you make more here.
Is that right?
Yeah, like back in Canada when I was working as like a hostess or waitress or whatever they call it, like I think service assistant as well over there. It was like $11 an hour.
But you were
12 hours. Yeah.
You would have crushed it
$12.
on the tips though, wouldn't you?
No, I was never really a waitress. They had like a little
tiered.
time, and then, hospitality over there is a little bit more
It's
weird.
sought after.
Yeah, it's sought after, and it's not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did brand ambassador work, and that was like 18 an hour.
Okay.
So it was, or 16 an hour? 18,
like at
16.
a pub, an event type thing, or
No, like it was Fedora,
okay, right,
which
right.
is shut down here.
Oh.
But yeah, so I did that for the last, I think, nearly year that I was there.
We're living in Vancouver City, like right in the guts.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tell me about your acting experiences over there, because you hear from here like, there's so much work and all these shows are being shot there and XYZ, and then you hear conflicting, like, Canadians are starting to get pissed with the influx of foreign actors coming in. I was like, well, hang on, man, how about the diversity there? You're racists, but what was it like?
It was pretty good. Actually, I had a meeting with an agent, and I ended up signing with him. But before I even signed with him, he sent me a self-tape to do, which I ended up doing in person for actually the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And so I went in for Sabrina, and that was even like before I really signed with him. So I did that. That's a good
way to start.
Yeah, it was a great way to start. Obviously did not get it, but it was a really good, like, straight off the bat, meet them. And then I just had like some lead roles, some supporting role auditions, one-liners, non-speaking parts. So the auditions were quite frequent for the most part. And got a couple of callbacks, and
but that's interesting. Even that is a win, right? When you're out here and look, I just got and it's for tomorrow. I've been in Melbourne 3 years. I just got my first in-the-room dramatic audition for a TV paid thing.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Wow.
After 3 years. A lot of that is a combination of things, and without having a big cry about the reasons why not. A lot of it was to do with an agent's different opinion on how to promote me.
Yeah.
And the proof's in the pudding, because the new agent has straight out of the gate within weeks got me that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah. And I lived in New York for a bit, and I was getting, 2 to 3 auditions a week. Yeah. It was before I was really an actor, so they were commercial. But even still, the odds are in your favor if you're doing 3 a week as opposed to 1 a month.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest difference as well here. There's a lot more work over there in Canada and in America than probably here.
For sure. And some people will counter that argument with, well, yeah, but the competition is as great. And I don't buy that. I mean, yes, there isn't as many people here competing for roles, but there are far more roles over there.
Yeah.
And it balances out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more willing to take on new blood. Whereas in Australia it's a little bit tried and tested.
Yeah. Using the same people.
Same people. We all read that article damning whoever that actress was that was in everything.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about, you have to forgive me off the top of my head, I forget the title of the film that you and I have spoken about, but lay it on me.
Yep. So the film is called Kill Me, Heal Me.
Kill me.
Heal me.
Heal me?
Heal me, as in kill me and then heal me.
Heal, like, gotcha.
Gotcha, like heal, yes.
Heal. Kill me, heal me.
Yeah.
This is the one that you and I spoke about a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what it's about.
It is about violence against men. So it follows a young man named Tom who goes to see a psychologist after getting out of an abusive relationship with his girlfriend. So the whole film touches in flashbacks between him talking and then going back to the relationship, but also kind of dives into his childhood and things with his abusive dad, and then also like being bullied as a kid, being teased because he's so close with his mom, and just some topics like that.
What was the catalyst for this? Like, what? How did you? why? How did it come to you? You wrote it.
I did write it,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Did you co-write this with a friend?
No, I wrote it all by myself. A friend gave me the idea because it was originally a short film, and I was originally going to write it as a man abusing a woman.
Right.
And then a friend suggested
to
flip it because it never gets spoken about.
Did you already have some knowledge of this, or were you like, wait, what? There's women abusing men, or?
I mean, I had kind of an idea, but I did my research, and it happens more than we kind of think, and so I kind of dived into that, and I saw it, and it was just like, wow, okay, like it was one of those things that I knew, but like didn't really know until I looked at it.
It's
fully.
Not spoken about.
No, it's definitely not spoken about enough.
Yeah,
like anyone is capable of abusing someone.
100%, whether it's emotional or physical.
Yeah.
If anything, the physical abuse is easier to deal with, and it's easier to tell someone about because it's there and it's visible and you can see it.
Yeah.
The internal stuff is very pernicious.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. So someone said, hey man, why don't you flip this on its head? And you had a little look into it and went, yeah, okay. And then now I watched your little series of interviews.
Yeah.
That was pretty confronting and pretty, like, I mean, hats off to those guys who said yes to that.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It was, I was very thankful that they said yes and gave me permission to do this and came in, and it was quite hard even asking the questions, and there was times where I was just like, geez, I just want to like cry.
Yeah.
And it was very, very hard.
For people who might be listening and who haven't seen that or don't know what we're talking about, just explain that and the motivation for that and what the questions were. And
so for the crowdfunding video for the feature, we got some guys in that have been abused.
How did you find them?
I just posted it on Melbourne, like some of the Facebook groups, and we had people come forward. And like we said, look, if you want to remain anonymous, that's totally fine. And so we just kind of asked them about the abuse, what had happened, who it had been done by, and like to go into kind of details about that. And so it was heartbreaking, to say the least.
Yeah, that's brutal. Holy shit. But that's such a win in a way, and a sign of the times that you were able to find these people through social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and so obviously the objective of the crowdfunding video is obviously for crowdfunding and to show that there is actually, this isn't a fictitious tale, albeit that the characters aren't real people, but that this is really happening. And I thought that was a really great way to do that. But still the crowdfunding wasn't as successful as you'd hoped?
No, I mean, I kind of had a feeling and that it would either go like one way. Like it would either be like, great, we'll get all the money, or it kind of won't go. And I think it's also like to do with the fact, some people don't really want to or forget about it or just can't afford to give money, or the fact it's the topic as well. I think a little bit mixture of everything kind of dived in.
I wonder, you would think though, that this is the skill in crowdfunding, is how to really pinpoint that audience. I've spoken about this a ton because it's the coolest thing I've done, so I talk about it as much as I can.
Yeah.
But Stringy Bark, the film that I played Ned Kelly in, they crowdfunded, and originally they projected 15,000, and I mean, sure, they have Ned Kelly in the top. Well, not really. I mean, that the algorithms or whatever will find Ned Kelly, but it's not in the pitch. It's not in the story. It's not in the title. But someone, I forget how they found this person, but this person had written a book about Ned Kelly. And he said, this is great what you're doing because it's the only film that's ever going to be made, or is the only narrative that's been written that is actually factual about what kind of person would kill 3 cops for no reason. And then he took it to the Sydney Morning Herald. And that was it. Game changer. They raised, I think, $30,000 the next day.
Jeez, yeah.
And they overshot by, I think, 20 odd grand what they had thought that they were going to get.
Yeah.
And looking at it now, there's no way in the world they would have made it for 15.
Yeah.
They would have got there and gone,
oh, shit.
Shit, man. We're all, like, we're going to have to,
Yeah.
And once it had that spread, then the Victorian Police Department got involved and then people came out of the woodwork to help. So it's, there's a real skill in there. And when I was crowdfunding for my own film last year, I went through a lot of people to try and handle that too.
Yeah.
That could do it professionally. And even then you step into monetary issues, and I offered, like, if you can raise $10,000, I'll give you 5%.
Yeah.
But there's your incentive. I'll give you $200 at the end of it, but not before or whatever. But if you can hit that target, I'll give you a percentage of what's raised.
Yeah.
But even still, in the end, I had to do it myself. And I think I raised $1,500.
Yeah.
I had to pay for the rest of it myself. I was still pretty pumped to even raise that.
Yeah.
So where are you now then?
We are still in pre-production. We've decided, because it was kind of becoming very rushed, to push it back to filming next year. So I think I've got to speak to the co-producer about this again. Gonna try and start casting, I think, in November, December. So then that way it gives us enough time to maybe have rehearsals in January and filming February-March.
So how are you going to finance it?
Well, I'm financing it myself, actually. So it's very, very low budget.
Yeah.
But we got some great crew on board that are going to really bring it to life. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And where will you cast?
Probably everywhere, like Star Now, casting networks, wherever we can list it on Facebook as well. Just try and find the best actors that we can. Have
you got some through your agency you can approach? You're with an agent, right?
I am, yes. I think so, but I think a lot of them are in kind of Sydney and everything. So
okay. Who are you with?
Talent by Teresa.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think my friend Sophie is with them.
Yeah. Just signed recently, so.
Oh, how's it going?
Good. So far, I think I only signed like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And did you approach them?
No, I saw it on Star Now.
Okay, yeah.
So technically, I approached them, right? But like they approached me.
Right.
I think they kind of just opened in Melbourne.
Yes.
Yeah, opened their books, I guess I should say.
I'm thinking of the same people.
Yeah.
So you're going to put your hand in your pocket and you're going to bring this baby to life.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that I have mixed feelings about crowdfunding, and for the longest time I was like, I'm not giving you any of my fucking money. and how dare I ask you to pay for my artistic project, especially if it isn't like yours that actually has something that really needs to be said and it's just a fucking horror film or something like that. Sorry, horror fans. I get it. They're fun to shoot, but god damn it.
Yeah.
And so when I set out to do mine, the only reason I did it is I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking to Billy Corgan, lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins. And he was saying that they did a study back in the day when things like Napster and what have you, it might be a little bit before your time,
maybe,
came out. It was sort of like the birth of file sharing.
Yeah.
And he said the thing is, when people go and buy a CD as opposed to essentially steal it online or whatever, they get a sense of ownership and they feel a lot better. So people feel good about investing in artistic products, whether it is buying a CD or giving money to a crowd fund.
Yeah.
They feel like that there's some way they have it's benevolent, but it's also a little selfish.
Yeah.
But good selfish, like, oh, I own a little bit of that now. I helped bring that to life. And so when I heard that coming from someone like him, I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, I have a different take on it now, and endeavored to raise money for the film.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it really is your friends and family that end up coughing up the most.
Oh yes, definitely.
I got the odd stranger. I got one dude out of nowhere gave me $750, and I was like, there's no role in this. There's no, like, are you sure you want to, like, I went and met him and said, are you sure? He's like, yeah, man, I think that sounds cool. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Like, you're I'm going to make this now because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
So casting, and how long does it run for?
The casting or the
No, sorry, the film. How many pages?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I can't remember off the top of my head. That's not a good sign, is it? I think it's somewhere between 80-something pages or 90-something pages.
Okay, so it's a short feature.
It's a short feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like kind of jumps straight through and gives a little punch.
Right. Cool. And you'll shoot here in Melbourne, obviously.
Shoot here in Melbourne. We're going to kind of space it out. So it'll probably be like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Not every week will be Friday. Like sometimes it'll just be weekends. And then, so.
Have you shot like that before?
No, I have not. I've been in films that have shot like that before.
That's what I'm. Either way, how have you found that? Because I'm always hesitant to do it. And I'm just curious. I
don't mind it. I mean, obviously, if we had a bigger budget, I'd rather just kind of smash it out so everyone can kind of just stay in the character for that entire time. Whereas if you have breaks, sometimes it is hard to come back to the character. But yeah, it's the only way to do it. I mean, it's, if got good actors, it's pretty easy to kind of get them back into that.
What, so how much do you think it would cost you to make this film in one block? To be able to pay your actors a minimal day wage and pay a crew and get it done like as a paid independent project.
Oh, I don't even know that. Because
What were you projecting in your crowdfund?
I think it was 40K we were trying to get.
Right.
Yeah, so probably around that. Like it would still be not the best kind of pay for everybody involved.
Wow.
But like we were just trying to get it so we could actually pay the crew and pay everybody without it having to be like deferred.
Yeah. The deferred is such a scam. I mean, like
I know, I hate to say it, but it is, and I have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of you being able to float this somewhere, unless you end up, unless you take yourself to the States and you go to the AFM or whatever it's called, and pump that film. I did a film a couple of years ago called Weevil, and it was a deferred payment.
Yeah.
You're never going to see a cent. And it's on Amazon and it's on whatever the fuck that Sony service. It's on iTunes in the States. I mean, he might have made his money back. I don't think he has.
Yeah.
And I was happy to do it, right? It was my first lead role and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, horror film.
You speak badly on them, but then you do them, right?
Because they're so fun to shoot, though.
Yeah.
I just don't sit down and watch horror. Although I will say this: the new age horror, like your Get Out and Hereditary and stuff like that,
incredible.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Where it's, I feel like it's sort of tracing its roots back a little bit to old school, suggestive, as opposed to ripping people open and pulling their shit out.
Yeah.
I'm not. No thanks. So how much are you going to make it for now? What have you had to strip it back to, if I can ask that?
It's kind of just like, I mean, I'm putting a lot away into savings, like all my paychecks. I'm putting pretty much everything like into this. So it's probably going to be, by the time we start shooting, probably shouldn't say because it's very, very low,
Like everyone, I don't think don't. But everyone, when I made mine last year, we got to a point in the planning of the shots where he was like, "You need an extra day," and I was like, that's all the buffer gone. Yeah. And then we filled that day, and then it was like, we really should get another day. And I was like, bro, I mean, no.
Yeah.
There's no extra day. We ended up having to do an 18-hour day and then like 3 16-hour days.
Yeah.
And everyone was buckled, and I'm eternally grateful for the time that they put into it. But, I put 4 years into that thing.
Yeah.
You're into it. If you're into it, you do it. If you're not into it, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And absolutely.
You really got to believe in it and to jump in. And that's, I think, well, I guess it varies, but I would hope that people are really into what you're doing. They should be.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so, because it is like such a sensitive topic that, we absolutely need people that are 110% committed to the project. And
Tell me about, you've been working on another short film just recently. You've done a bunch, actually.
Yeah. I did. I've done a lot. Yeah.
So out of the collection of things that you've done yourself, because as we talk about on this podcast a lot, is actors like yourself who have got to that point where they're going, look, it's just not coming down the line, and I need to create my own shit. You know, it's one of the best things that I ever, those little nuggets of advice that I got was from Philip Seymour Hoffman in an interview, and he said, just act as often as you can, wherever you can, do it as much as you can. And then not too long after that, Dustin Hoffman, he did the first masterclass. You know those masterclasses that you can get online? He did the first one ever. And that's what he said. Go out and make something. Just, you've got a phone, you've got a pen, write something, shoot it, put it on fucking YouTube. Just be creating all the time. So you've done a bunch. So of the ones that you've done up to now, what's your favorite? Without offending anyone.
Without offending. Every single one has been my favorite. What are you talking about? I did this Swinburne one called The Kiss.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I think I really loved that one.
You wrote this?
No, okay. I didn't write this. This is something that I've acted in.
Oh, okay.
It's called The Kiss.
Okay.
And went around festivals and everything. I
think I saw a clip for this because when I was doing my background on stuff that you've done. But what about one that you have brought to life yourself?
Ooh. Because they're so different. Like, two of my main shorts are very different. Like, one's an experimental and then the other one's more like narrative driven. So I kind of would have to say the second one, Letting Go.
Right.
Just because the message in it is about depression and suicide.
Yeah.
And it also focuses on a male dealing with it as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And like a female that like his girlfriend killed herself. So it's kind of like he sees his girlfriend, like he imagines her and everything. And so I think it's also because of the feature I'm so passionate about, like seeing the sensitive side of males, because we always see this inside of females, which is great. And I love that too. But I think because of that, I really love the message in it.
Letting Go.
Yeah.
So take us back just because I'm always intrigued as to the catalyst for becoming an actor and what have you. Are you, were you doing drama at high school? Are you musical, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I did drama kind of in high school. But before that, my sibling actually was in plays. And so I got dragged along. And so I watched it and I was like, hey, that looks like fun. So then the school did like West Side Story. So I just auditioned. I got an ensemble.
In Claremont? This was
in, I think the school was Christchurch Grammar School. Really? So I auditioned for that one of their plays there. And I think that's the school name. Don't hold me to that.
Christchurch,
Yeah. And so, I did ensemble when I was like 12 maybe. And then it just kind of grew from there. Kind of the love to kind of just play other people.
And you've never taken your foot off the gas. You've always, this is what's happening.
Sort of. I kind of had like a little bit of a break when I first moved back here to focus a little bit more on writing and directing. So I've just kind of recently been like, hey, still want to do acting. Yeah.
But you've never, gone and done another career or a job with the intent that maybe that might be what you want to do.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Lord, no.
Oh yeah. No, that good for you, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've just had casual jobs and part time just to
that keep the dream alive.
Yeah, keep me being able to, live.
Yeah. And what's your situation now? Are you still with the folks, or you share house?
Share house, yeah.
Yeah. How's that going?
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty good. We do have to find another roommate, but apart from that, it's pretty good so far.
So we were talking about your upcoming project, the film that you love the most that you directed and directed or just wrote?
I wrote and directed.
Wrote and directed. Did you act in that one as well?
No, I did not.
Right. How is that for you? Do you find that, albeit it's your content and everything, where are you at heart most? So are you sitting there watching other people act out your words going, I still really like to be out there? Or do you love being back directing the whole thing?
No, I think when I'm directing it, it's kind of like I'm directing it and I kind of look at it, I'm like, that's phenomenal. That actor is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love their take. So I don't see it as myself acting in it or being like, I wish I had acted in it instead.
Okay.
I watch it and I'm like, that's my work, not like, I had to train the actors too much in anything I've had to do or make or direct. Mm-hmm. But I just kind of do it and I was like, that's my vision coming to life. And so
you're pumped.
Yeah, so I'm pumped on either way.
Yeah. Cool. That's interesting. I don't know how I will go with that because one of the reasons I came back around to being an actor, I wanted to be an actor when I was 6.
Oh,
and
wow,
I was in a school play and I was like, yes, this is it. And then like when I was 13, I was in like the Rock of Stedford and I was in a big school play and I was like, that's it. Done. I'm definitely going to be an actor. And then I changed high schools and I was bullied from the first day to the last day for 3 years straight. And it just stomped that out of me completely.
Yeah.
It didn't get rid of art because originally I wanted to be a comic book drawer. Oh. So I went to college and I studied illustration and did all that and then found photography, put down the pencils and picked up the camera. And so when I was 30, it still took me a long time to go professional, but when I was 30, I became a fashion photographer. And and I went and lived in Dubai for a while in New York and managed a production company out there. But all the time that I was doing those shoots, especially if I was shooting like a guy on the other end, I was like, man, I really want to get on the other side of this, and it was directly tapping back into how much I really wanted to. Never had any desire to be on the stage. That was just all that was coming across the table at school. But I just love movies so much. I was like, I could do that, man. I could be out there. And then it was doing a shoot with an actress / model who said, what she had been up to, and I was like, God, I really want to do that, but I'd had a couple of cracks at trying to model and been turned down. And so I was like,
never mind kind of situation. Yeah.
Bummed out. And maybe I don't look as good on camera as I thought I did, or whatever. I've got no skills. But I eventually, she was the one that tipped me over the fence and sort of said, just fucking do it, dude.
That's right, yeah.
And go and see this guy. And she put me in touch with Myles Pollard, who's now my acting coach. Whenever I don't, regularly have weekly sessions with the coach, but whenever I've got a big audition or a booked part, I'll Skype with him and do a 2-hour session. But he was the one who had a great class and everything. But I sat down with him afterwards actually and said, look, man, what's the deal? Yeah. What do you reckon? He's like, I don't ever tell anyone they're good or bad, but I do tell people there's some who should and there's some who shouldn't.
Yeah.
And you should. And I was like,
great. Awesome.
It was big, but but imagine if he said,
you shouldn't.
Maybe you should stick to taking photos.
Yeah.
And I probably would have listened.
Yeah.
To be honest, at that point in my life, I probably would have. I'm sure it would have crept back in, but maybe I would have lost. Well, I would have lost 4 years.
Yeah.
Or something. It's a funny thing when you come to what you love later in life, I imagine. It's probably more pressing with acting because you have age ranges.
Yeah.
That when you come at it later, there's this dramatic or this intense sense of urgency that you have got to cover as much ground as you can, as quickly as you can. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on the roles that you saw on the big screen that you want to play the most. And that's a real thing. That's something you have to reconcile. They're gone.
Yeah.
I'm never going to play Superman. You know what I mean? I'm never going to play Batman unless, what I mean?
Even I want to play Batman, so.
Right? I mean, they just had an old Batman and that didn't work out so well. So that's fucking gone.
Yeah. That's out the window now. gosh.
But you know what I mean? You'll never get to play the star quarterback or anything like that unless it's like an old quarterback who steps back into his kid's high school match or something.
It could happen, you know?
I did think about that the other day. I thought this might be an interesting idea for a film. I was watching the football, and I love football now more than I probably ever have Australian football.
Yeah.
But I played at high school, but I was fucking terrible. So not only was I getting bullied every day, then I would go out and play football and get smashed on the field because I was tiny.
Yeah.
And then get bullied for performing badly and losing the game.
Like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, missing a goal from 2 meters straight in front.
That is terrible.
But I love playing it now, and I love going. I was just playing in the park yesterday with my brother-in-law, who was a very good footballer, and I thought it'd be great as a what's the word I'm looking for? Self-indulgent actor writer to write a film though about a dad in my position who gets a shot at a parents' match to right the wrongs of his high school in a parents' football match, and I thought. Because you don't see a lot of Australian Aussie rules films.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot. You know, there's one recent, you know, tons of gridiron films or American football or whatever, but not many Australian films. Anyways, I'm floating that out to the ether. I think that would be an interesting film.
Someone might steal it now and make it, you know?
Maybe.
As long as they cast you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the dad. You can write it. To be honest, man, I do not enjoy writing.
You don't?
Nah.
Really?
I don't. Like, it's bittersweet, you know. I don't like having to make major changes, you know. When you know, when you like think that something's going to work and you've put so much effort into it, and then it just doesn't fly, and you've got to rewrite 30 pages to make this new endpoint, which you love and know is going to work. And I'm not a fan of just being in the chair for so long. You know, that just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I think I much prefer to write the treatment. And I would love to have a writing partner who sees the same way that I do, but just has that extra
motivation.
Gift. Well, motivation and enjoyment, but also just like I'm looking at my scenes in the park is the name of the film that I've just written. And this, I know for sure that someone who was a pro, I don't know how much they would change the beats, but they would just make some of the conflict or some of the just creativity in that dialogue better than what I've been able to do it. The dialogue works, serves a purpose, all that kind of stuff. And there's some moments you're hungry.
Oh, apparently my stomach thinks so. Yes.
But
that's gonna come out great.
But at the same time, you know, a week ago I was finishing off the final draft. A couple of days ago and thinking, you know, I don't know if I would write another film. And then 2 days ago, I had an idea for a film that I'm absolutely going to write.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm having to mediate how much I think about it.
Yeah.
Because I need to focus on the other thing, but I'm like, this would be a fucking great idea. But I'll float that idea once I've written a treatment.
Yeah. I have like a whole note section in my phone that's like feature ideas, TV show ideas. And so I just have to kind of slowly make my way down.
What will you do with your feature? Something heal? Tell me again.
Kill me, heal me.
Oh my God, I apologize. That's fucking terrible.
That is okay.
What's the objective with that other than, you know, shoot it, wrap it, produce, then you will proof of concept to expand, or what you want to pitch it to?
Kind of, the plan is to kind of shoot the whole thing, and then submit it for festivals, and then hope like the big festivals, you know, like aim high and hope. And then once it goes through that, I'm hoping we get distribution somewhere like in theaters or on iTunes or really anywhere, and just hopefully.
All Australian cast, like you're not trying to pitch it to an American. Like everyone's not going to be an American.
No. I want to kind of pitch it as like an Australian film, if like American people pick it up, they'll be like, it's still Australian.
Totally,
because it's like already filmed, it's already made, it's already through things. So pretty cool.
So someone like Screen Australia and through to SBS On Demand or something like that would be pretty awesome.
Hopefully that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd love to learn more about that process, actually. I was reading a post this morning about Foxtel and how they are trying to... Well, I think the article was saying that they haven't lost touch with drama in Australia and that they do intend to put more money into drama narratives shot and film with all in Australian actors and what have you. And I thought that was really, really interesting article, and it was encouraging. And I thought, how do you get to have that conversation? You know, like, because they're saying they're looking to be pitched, but there was no thing at the end of the article saying, if you've got an idea,
come
send it through to this. You know, it was. I think you need from what I could take, you need to have a producer that is soliciting the idea for you. Is that the right word?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, so it doesn't come to them unsolicited. Yeah.
Yeah, and possibly someone that's already done things as well. So
yeah,
it's
100%.
Not just like we're just gonna take on everything. You know, it's like, here's the catch though.
Yeah, Australia's
a shame.
It is a shame. I mean, I think that there's plenty of crap out there, of course, but there's plenty of crap getting made.
Yeah.
With lots of money. You know, and there's plenty of people, I'm sure, who have got incredible scripts.
Yep.
That they just don't know how to network it. No one gives them the time to read it because it's a big thing to go, I'm going to give 2 hours of my life as a busy person to someone I don't know who hasn't done anything before. But here's a really great story that I heard the other day. Kevin Costner was talking about a friend of his. This is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The story he was telling happened 30 years ago, but he was telling it recently. And he said, and it is different back then. You know, it's totally different. But a friend of his, and I don't know how he knew this person, but it was an asshole. Like, this is how this guy's a fucking asshole. And everyone around him knew he was an asshole. And he kept bailing me up. He was down on his luck. He had no money. And, I gave him a bit of cash and I tried to help him out. And he's like, why isn't anyone giving me any time? I was like, mate, because you're a fucking asshole. You're a dick to people. And then he reached out to him again or something and said, look, I've got this script. Can you please? And he's like, man, I don't, to be honest, no. Like, I'm busy. I don't like you. I helped you out. We're done.
Yeah.
And he kept pressing him. And I don't know over what period of time. But eventually he's like, fuck, Jesus, give me the script. Read it. It was Dances with Wolves.
Jeez.
7 Academy Awards or something like that, which he directed and acted in. Like, sometimes you just got to put your shit aside and have a read.
Yeah.
But isn't that incredible?
I know. Gosh.
Dances with Wolves. He knew that this thing that he'd written was big.
Yeah.
And he smashed it. And the guy might still be an asshole and maybe he never wrote anything again. I actually don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Should look that up. I'll pop a little pop-up in this video.
Yeah. At the end, just be like, this is who it is.
Yeah, a little fact check on it as well. But what, that's quite an incredible story.
Jeez. Yeah.
So what's next?
What is next? That is the big question.
Yeah, I mean, you're prepping for this. You've just wrapped on a short film, is that right?
Yeah.
What was
wrapped
that?
on the weekend. It was just a uni short film about a girl with schizophrenia.
Oh, that's right. Tell me the name of that.
Beloved.
Beloved.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw the thing come down on Star Now for
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And how was that?
It was quite fun.
Yeah.
It was like very interesting to play this character that is, has schizophrenia and, her friends are her hallucinations and yeah, it was quite fun.
How did you prep for that?
I did my research. I looked it up. I had auditioned for a character with it before, so I was a little bit familiar with it, but then I picked up some of the traits, like with speaking, and I'm still probably doing it. They tend to be a little bit more frenzies and a little bit, they speak a little bit faster, things like that, yeah.
And was this, like a delusional schizophrenic where they could see other people the whole bit?
Yeah, the whole way through, and then it's only at the end where it kind of, don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I mean, it's a student film, but Much love to the cast and crew who made me this. Sorry. But at the end, it's only at the end that she kind of realizes that her friends and her roommates were kind of not real.
Right.
So she has no idea the entire way through, and she, there's like a little bit in it, which I won't reveal, where she thinks she's done something horrible because they've told her this horrible thing's happened. And
right.
Yeah.
I would say that that's a massive spoiler.
Yeah. But I didn't say exactly what had happened. I just said that something horrible had been done.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And because that's tricky too, right? Is to not, when you sit down with acting coaches and what have you, everyone tells you not to lean into the stereotype and not to overplay the obvious and rah. But it's a fine line between it then just being so cryptic that the audience doesn't know
what's going on.
They still need some of those tells.
Yeah, because it's never really said anyway throughout the entire film exactly what.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what was it like? You've done a bunch of short films with students, right?
Yeah.
How did that one fare in the scope? Because they're such a gamble.
I would say it's definitely one of the better ones I've been on.
Great.
I won't say it, but I've been on a few that have just been like, that's
shit.
just, shit.
Yeah.
Some really terrible ones that you're like, why?
And the footage that you get back is rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh God.
And you got to do it.
Yeah.
I think you and I were talking about something earlier, and it made me think of, as you go along, that there is a transition too, as certainly when you're older and you're, like as an older actor who's just coming out and you're having to do short films and stuff like that, where do I find the time? I mean, I don't have kids yet. I've got one on the way.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you very much. You have to regulate time. You have to be as effective with your time as possible. And you get students, predominantly students because they're on a student clock, wanting to audition at like 2 on a Wednesday, in wherever, and then shoot for Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I tell you what, I'll send you self-tape.
Yep.
Because I work all through the day.
Yeah.
And then if you want to rustle up a couple $100 and pay me something for the $700 I'm going to lose or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, they don't factor it in. They want to do a great story about an older couple and their child or whatever. It's like, well, that older couple is legitimately an older couple.
Yeah.
And I've had to say to them, guys, I'll come down and do this thing. Like, I think you've got a really great idea, but if you can't see from my reel, which is extensive, and my creds that I'm not up to the task or I'm your guy, that's cool. I get it, but I probably just don't have the time to do this 7-page self-tape that you want to do or whatever. And it's hard, and you can come off sounding like a bit of a dick, but in the beginning you do whatever, right? And you lose a lot of time. I have any student footage that I can use, and I've done a bunch.
I think I have like one.
Right.
One in there. I mean, I had one before, but then as like, looks change, things change, got stronger pieces in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is you've got to do them, and they're great to do, and they're if you go into them with like, okay, on this short film, like the last student film I did, I was like, okay, I get a chance at doing American dialect.
There we go.
Great.
Yeah.
That's my mission for this thing, is just to work on that, because no one on that set is going to teach me anything.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They're just working it out too. It's not like working with an independent filmmaker who maybe you're still not getting paid or you're getting paid a little, but has already got 5 features or something in their bag, and they've been at it for 15 years or something. You still might learn something from them. That's an effective allocation of your time. But short films can be tough like that.
Yeah.
Unless I've worked on short films where the teacher was there.
Oh, okay.
And at TAFE in Western Australia, they pay their actors like $150 a day or something like that. This is like 5 years ago.
That's not bad.
Mate, you'll take it 100% to get to go and act and get paid for a student film.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a teacher there keeping everyone in check.
Perfect.
Great. That's something that There are student films that final term projects that pay.
Yeah.
Here I've auditioned for a couple, and when people are paying, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I had one recently, not recently actually, 18 months ago. And do you know what? We shot the thing in 5 hours. And it was just a conversational thing. It was really dark and twisted. I was schizophrenic, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And I had abducted this woman to replace my wife, who I had killed accidentally or something like that. And I had her locked up in this bedroom. And he just came to me straight away and said, I'd like you to come do this part. And I went and met with him with those same questions that we spoke about earlier. Like, are you sure? Like, why haven't you auditioned? And he had good answers for those. He said, time's of a factor. I've seen your reel. I can see that you can do it. You fit the profile. Job's done. We had a good chat. I asked him some questions he still didn't have answers to. I said, when you got those answers, come back to me. He went and nutted. He's like, oh, shit. And that's really good when you've got a director who goes, oh, cool. This is what the actor should do.
Yeah.
Is be a detective.
Yeah.
And work it out. Came back, we shot it, and you know what? He gave me $50. And I said, mate, I have to say to you, you're the first who's ever done this. You've got me anytime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really cool.
That's awesome.
And it's rare.
Yeah, very rare.
And it didn't look too bad. We didn't have lots of time to prep. I wouldn't use the footage for anything, but it was worth doing.
Definitely.
Well, mate.
Yes.
I really appreciate you coming down.
No worries. Happy to come down.
Yeah, man, and keep me posted on the film.
Definitely. Let you know when casting starts.
Oh, yeah, great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.